oh darn, here we go. The tackiness just worked with me. Come on, phone. All right, so look, I want to welcome everyone to my channel. This is the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Bo. So for those of you who know me, you know what the deal is. You know I typically talk about 3 things. But I'm going to try starting off a little different because I recognize that maybe I'm limiting myself. Instead of talking about the normal 3 things, which is black women, black culture, and middle age. Oh, this is so tacky. I think what I'm going to do is just say that, hey, I'm going to give you my bow thoughts. For those of you who don't know what a bow, B.O.W, is, that it's a black opinionated woman. Hence bows and bow ties, because if you're a male or identify as a male, then you would be a bow tie. All right, so I just want to remind people that, look, if you want to hear from me, you want to get notified, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so that way you are notified when I present a new video for your viewing pleasure or when I go live. Okay, and then of course subscribe. So, based off of what the title is, it says basically thankful for being regular. Oh my gosh. So look, if you're new to my channel, this is what we're dealing with right now. I got this taggy phone thing that's just not, I don't know why it doesn't say tight enough to hold my thing in place. Now I gotta physically hold it. So I want to talk about being regular. What do I mean by that? Let me just say for the record, I know many people love fame and fortune. I'd rather just take the fortune without the fame. I personally am not one for, like, when I look at celebrity, I feel like they're trapped by their success, so to speak, and then they have to go in hiding. Some people crave that attention, that adoration, all that good stuff, but you pay a price for that, right? When you want to be in the limelight all the time, like for example, entertainers. I'm not talking about maybe your sports personalities, and it could still apply to them too. But I'm talking about maybe people who enjoy being in the movies and singing and that type of thing. So this is the thing. I recognize their humanity, of course, because we are human. But generally speaking, everyone's like, oh, well, some of these actors and actresses are introverts or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, but there's something in their personality that craves like the public adoration and attention, that type of thing. But there's a price that comes with this. I think there was a song, I want to say it was maybe Eminem or something, when he made the song like We Made You or whatever it is. It's kind of like you want that from the public, and then you get mad when the public demands something from you. And it's not right per se that the public thinks they have ownership. Oh, went over the train tracks. It's not right when the public thinks they have ownership of you per se, but nevertheless, it is what it is, right? Sorry, I'm taking a very scenic route to work because I like going through the ups and the downs and the twists and turns. For whatever reasons, it gives me pleasure. It sets my day off right. I don't know. Maybe I'll take the main road. I might. I'll do like half and half. Anyway, so when that song came out, We Made You, I was like, it's kind of almost kind of sort of deep, even though I don't believe anybody makes anybody, but I got the sentiment. But anyway, let's get back to being thankful for being regular. For one, I have a few notes here. I feel like I have the fortunate luxury of being able to keep up with my regular routine. Now, right now, my regular routine requires me to get up and go to work. Okay, and for those of you who don't know, I'm an engineer by day. So I get up, I go to work, I do engineering type like things, and then I go home to my second job, which is managing my 4 children, and then my husband, my diva cat. I don't manage my husband, but you know what I mean. And in that is a certain set of activities, right? Whether it's, now my husband has been doing most of the dinners lately because he usually beats me home. But what I would say is there are certain sets of activities that if I were a celebrity, I probably would not be able to engage in. And I'm going to say, for example, children. My children, 3 of my 4 children play sports. If I were a celebrity, it would probably be really hard for me to just go to their practices, let alone games. You know, I personally would have difficulty as a parent not being able to go to my children's activities, because we get them for a period of time and then they're gone. They go off and live their lives. I can't imagine. I'm so tacky. Y'all gonna have to just work on me. I can't imagine not being there for my children. Now, I know someone who's made some kind of crazy comments about it's a waste of their time to go to their children's practices and games, but that's another conversation for another day. Nevertheless, I personally would have a hard time if I could not be present in my kid's life, as much as they drive me crazy. There are celebrities who really, they just struggle. They can't be present. They can't. Because the focus would be on them, and they're going to want privacy, and it's like their kids. Now, look, I'm sure some of their kids play sports and stuff like that. I don't know how involved these parents are. I'm sure some of them are. But I would venture to guess that many of them can't be present. I think probably some of their kids don't even get the chance to really enjoy the normal childhood type things. They have to be brought up in that Hollywood bubble. I don't want that for my children. Not to say that my children are the best, but I would rather take my regular, degular lifestyle for my children any day than what's happening in Hollywood. The kids, it seems like they just act out. They are overexposed too quickly. Not to say that you can't get that in the regular, degular lifestyle that we live in too. But what I will say is, I'm so sorry about this bootleg camera situation. I just feel like I'm so thankful that I don't have to deal with that celebrity crap. I don't want it. I would not want every time I walked outside, someone's like, I gotta like be worried about who's filming me, not looking perfect when I go to the local store. Like, literally, that's gotta stop. Second, so one of the things I'm also thankful about is I can have regular friendships, regular mother friendships, regular non-mother friendships. They don't get that. You don't even know who's going to be your friend in general for you. And if you look at what is presented in the media, I'm trying to purposefully make sure I choose my words, and I may not be doing a good job, but when you look at what's presented in the media, even like on some of the reality TV shows, no one is really like friends. Very few of them are like friends. They're reality TV show friends. They're co-workers. I would rather have authentic relationships versus these what can you do for me relationships, or well, every relationship actually is what can you do for me if you think about it. But I can't imagine having to be on guard all the time during these kinds of relationships. That's gotta suck. You don't know who's really going to be your friend. You know, everybody probably wants something from you. They want to be next to your celebrity. They want your money. They want your clout. They want the paparazzi. I don't know. I mean, people think they want it until they got it, and then they're like, man, this sucks. I just want to know why there's a car behind me, like, riding me hard. Like, for real. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to need you to slow down. Like, yo, I'm already going probably a little too fast on this road anyway, but this car is riding me hard. And I'm like, I need you to get yourself some life. And still following me, yo, this car. I'm like, go get a life. Sorry about my bootleg phone. So anyway, back to me. I can't imagine having those kinds of big friendships. They talk about like somebody like a Beyonce, like everybody who comes in contact with her has to sign an NDA. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is all alleged. Okay, I'm not, using StreamYard. I'm filming directly from YouTube today via my phone. So I can't even imagine if all of my relationships are going to be predicated on whether or not I signed an NDA. I'm going to get out of here with that. I'm not signing an NDA. We're either going to be friends or we're not, and we can build towards a trustful relationship. Now, I do understand because she is a celebrity, right? But to me, you would be trapped because all of your relationships are based off of whether somebody signed an NDA. So it's not even like a normal trust. It's a binding document. Whereas most of us regular people are out here in these streets. We have to do it the long, complicated way that requires you to be a good person and to gain trust and get burned. We don't have the luxury of binding people to documents, you know. But this is the thing. And I can't speak for celebrities, but I'm going based off what's presented to me and what I hear. Again, this is all alleged. All alleged. Having to sign a bunch of documentation every time somebody comes into your house or you meet or have a party or whatever, that's gotta suck. I mean, I get why they do it, but I don't see anything authentic about it. I think most of the people who are in these types of cultures, entertainers and sports personalities, stuff like that, I think they are in a lifestyle that there are perks to it, but in the grand scheme of things, there are a lot of things I'm sure they wish they didn't have that came with it. You get a different set of problems. A different set of problems. But yeah, seriously, being regular, like I don't have to go up to people every time I go out to a store or whatever, or just have any sort of interaction. Like, can you sign this NDA? I don't invite a ton of people to my house, but I can't imagine saying, hey, can you sign this NDA? This is crazy. Can you sign an NDA? I'm like, I'm not signing an NDA. I don't need to be here. You're not going to be walking around every time I want to do something and I got to sign some documentation. No, thank you. This isn't the relationship for me, and have a good one. I think just being able to move about freely. That's one of the things I'm thankful for. I should be able to get in my car and drive myself to the store, to the coffee shop, to whatever. And I shouldn't have to worry about anything. I should be able to move about with a fresh face like I am right now. I should be able to move about with a fresh face and not have to worry about, am I looking my best? Are they going to capture pictures of me? You know, whatever. I don't have to worry about that. That's going to suck. Every time you go out, let me tell you something. That Kardashian family, they apparently really love being in the limelight. I'm just like, yeah, you can keep that. You can keep all of that. You can keep all of your crazy surgeries. You can keep all of that. I mean, and I'm not knocking surgery. Okay. Hey, stupid phone. I'm not knocking surgery at all. What I'm saying, there's a lot going on, and that's a lot to keep up with, and I don't want to have to keep up with all of that. I want no parts of keeping up with that shenanigans. Nope. I want to be able to get in my car and run to the store, and it'd be okay. Whether I'm grabbing milk, whether I'm grabbing socks, whatever it is. I don't want to have to worry about if I have bodyguards or whatever. Like, that's crazy to me. I can move about freely in society. I think those who are wealthy without the celebrity have it better. I'm guessing, right? Because you don't know that they're sitting on $1 bajillion and have a great lifestyle. Well, I'm sure some of them do, you know, but like in general, they're just living their lives, right? Walking around with, sitting on a pot of gold and moving about freely. Moving about like where they can just go get in their car. If they want to go to the beach or whatever, they just go. I think the biggest thing is I'm happy I'm not part of the Hollywood culture. I don't understand their relationships and how they move. They do these things. Like, for example, a buddy of mine yesterday was telling me, like, why don't you open up your options for the types of videos? I was like, well, I wanted to just be more specific. He's like, well, maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you need to reach more people with other topics. And I remember I was like, okay. So he's like, well, what's trending? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, you have to look it up. So we went to 2 sites. Now, y'all gonna laugh at me. First, I went to Gossip. Now, that's for black gossip, right? It was a bunch of nonsense. I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Like, all the stuff that was on there, right? I didn't even know who these people were. I'm like, well, who are these people? Outside of, like, Rihanna, right? Like, all the stuff that's going on right now out on these streets, like in YouTube and everything like that, they're talking about, like, the Benzino guy. I still don't even know who Benzino is. I'm like, who is this guy? Talking about him being trans or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. Why do we care that he's being outed for being into trans women? I'm just trying to figure out, why is this even newsworthy? But we're leaning in on it. Although some of the people who are reporting on it, it's kind of funny. Number 2, the other thing was, we went to, I was like, let's go to the magazine. And so I'm like, let's go to Us Weekly, right? I get to Us Weekly. Didn't even know that wasn't the URL. It's actually Us Magazine, by the way. And I'm looking on there, and all I can see is, like, everyone's like, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. Look at me, look at my belly. I'm like, as you can see, my face is kind of like, okay. I'm like, regular people every day have babies, and we don't take out full-fledged magazine. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have photo shoots, because I know my sister did one. What I'm saying is, we don't have to put that out there in the magazines. And I guess my thing is, if you're part of Hollyweird, you have to remain relevant. I'm so thankful that I'm not part of Hollywood. I don't have to be relevant. I'm relevant in my own mind and perfect in every way. I don't even think I can do any wrong. I am that chick. I'm an expert on being myself. So what I'm saying is, you got people in Hollyweird, they're like, how do I capitalize off of being pregnant? I'm like, why can't you just grow your baby? They want everybody to see, look at me. I'm like, there's no end. So yeah, let me just say, for the record, I'm just happy to be a regular person. I can move freely. I don't have to get people to sign NDAs. I can, I don't have to be in a limelight all the time. I don't have to keep up with these crazy beauty standards that are placed on people, men and women, by the way. I don't have to do any of those things. So anyway, yesterday, for those of you who are used to listening to me yipping and yapping and yapping and yipping, a buddy of mine was telling me, he's like, yeah, why don't you consider being more wide open? I'm like, well, typically to gain traction on YouTube, you niche down. But apparently me niching down is not working, right? Because black people don't want to hear about black topics, even though I'm still going to talk about it because it's my channel and that's what I want to talk about. But whenever I have opened it up to other stuff, I think people are just more interested in more broad things, which oddly enough is interesting, because usually when you're talking about broad topics, usually you want to see like a white face doing that. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I think what I might do is slightly change how I present the content. Maybe it's just going to be bowthoughts. I'm still going to talk about black people and black culture. I just am. I'm all the way am, and I'm just going to. I'm still going to keep the playlists the way they are for right now, and I'll just talk about other things. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. My exit's coming up soon, and I should probably focus because I like taking the yellow brick road in there too. So I do like half on days where the traffic is not so much. I get to enjoy the beauty of, like, it's just a really nice ride in, especially once everything blooms. You guys are like, oh man, this is a nice ride in. But taking the highway does make this a lot quicker. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this, go ahead. Let me know. Just like, you know what? I enjoyed this. You could actually say, I enjoyed this. Let me know what your bowthoughts are on the topic, because to be honest, I am quite thankful for being a regular. Oh, what's going on? Is there like a copper up here? Let me actually drive it. I got some sense. And then, yeah. Let me know what your bowthoughts are. Maybe, maybe you feel like, no, I wish I had that lifestyle. Some people really are built for it. I know I'm not. I would be on somebody's magazine all the time about like, Bo acted out again, knock somebody's camera out of their hand or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, that would be me. I know it would be me. Because I'd be like, get out of here. Or I'd say something tacky. I'm like, no, I'm not signing your NDA. Well, I don't need to come to your little whack party. I'm not coming. I don't care if it's the party of the century. Now, I say all this because I'm not part of Harley Weird. But what I'm saying is, in general, in order to have any sort of meaningful friendships, or relationships, I gotta sign NDAs. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all the way good. All right, so let me get off here. In 1 mile, I will be getting off of this road to enjoy my other 10-minute drive in, even though I should continue down another exit. But I like to be entertained. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my drive in quiet. Well, maybe listen to the radio. All right. Black Opinionated Woman. Out. Subscribe.